Welcome back to another episode of Server Room. I'm Nandini, your host for the podcast, and today we'll be diving deep into the whole world of finance with Anupama here, who is the head of payments and audit functions for the Zoho group of companies. Welcome to the podcast, Anupama.
Yeah, very good morning, Nandini. Appreciate the opportunity, and it's a very nice setup here.
I'm glad you like
Glad
it.
to be here.
Yeah. So, it's not the finance teams are not the teams that there are always used to be. So there's this perception about finance always revolving around numbers and accounts and banks and all of that. But I'm sure these days it's been very different since the evolution of tech has come about, AI, automation, and I'm sure you'll probably play a very important role in all the organizations out there today. So, how has it evolved from the time you joined till today?
So, simply put, digital transformation has really been a game changer when it comes to finance. So, it has completely reshaped how finance team functions. It has helped us to become more, faster, smarter, and more importantly, secure. So, when we speak about digital and finance, security is more important with respect to any company's, financial data. It has also helped us to move away from more spreadsheets and manual processes, and bring in more effective workflows into the systems.
Okay.
So it's been 17 long years with Zoho, the moment I joined in 2008.
Okay.
So as you know, we are using Zoho Books as our ERP,
Right.
being our own product. So it's kind of, we have completely grown with the product. So the situation where we really adopted in 2008, and now where Zoho Books, it has really grown, and that's a transformation that I see. So it's quite challenging from there.
Okay. Okay. So, I think Zoho Books was one of the first products to introduce GST. Because I've heard a lot of stories. So, how has was there like too much involvement from the finance team as well?
Yeah, so it was not me, but one of the other colleague who heads the GST and no compliances. So they actively involved because it's more on the GST law, right? So there had been phenomenal efforts put in both by the product team and the compliance team to bring that GSTP registration for Zoho Books.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, how has it been? Are there any new developments in Middle East or Africa that you can talk
So
about?
we are expanding a lot, and when it comes to Middle East, the kind of the increase in the setup is quite high. And the recent one is on the Kenya. We have set up a company, and it's close to 10 people who are already onboarded.
Okay.
And I think Kenya should go live in the current financial year.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and we are just waiting for the Qatar to come in. Even Qatar will join the race with Kenya going live in the local country. So
Okay. So let's talk about automation and how RPA, which is robotic process automation, has come into the picture for finance teams. And also, a lot of AI technologies are coming up. So, can you tell us about how that has evolved in the last, let's say, just 2 years? Because ChatGPT was. It was very recent that it was launched. So maybe you can give your views and your observations on how it has affected your work.
So imagine, robotic process automation as your, super efficient assistant who does your payroll processing, expense reporting, invoice reconciliations, and whatnot when it comes to a finance process. So it has really helped in automating a lot of reporting requirements, and uh, it also helps in AI driven audit mechanisms. So a lot of audit firms, naming all the big fours like PwC, Deloitte, everybody has really are into AI driven audit tools, techniques, so that they can detect any kind of complaints risk real time. So imagine a dashboard popping out if there is any kind of simple risk appearing, or any kind of threat which needs to be really taken care of immediately. So that's kind of thing that is possible only with AI plus no finance getting involved there. So that is one thing, and AI is kind of a brain source behind this complete digital transformation on finance side. So AI also helps us, in many, fraud detection techniques. It also helps to you to, forecast any kind of cash flow. So, which is more important for anybody who's, going to take any decision on, say, should we do this investment, should we expand in this current region. So, these are the immediate, results that any kind of, AI infused, technology can provide us. So, it really helps, decision makers to make an informed decision, which is very, very important.
Right, right. So do you use AI a lot in day-to-day work for?
I would wish, but we are not there in the way we are really procrastinating a lot, So we are just in the baby steps, I would say, because we also work with books team and other couple of products team, like the expense team to bring in a process where a lot of manual intervention can be avoided.
Okay,
So things
okay.
are falling in place, but
It'll take
slowly,
time.
yeah, it'll take time. So but I think it'll happen fast.
All right.
So it's not like what was happening from 2008 to now. It's going to happen very real fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We can see that.
Of course, of course. So, how has blockchain changed all of the game? Because blockchain has, enabled users to be transparent with their transactions. So, how has that changed for organizations in a whole?
So to simply put, blockchain is security plus transparency. So it is it's kind of a process by which the data is recorded permanently and nobody will be able to manipulate. That is the reason it is very much trusted. So blockchain is widely used in the banking environment and more on the payment processes like your Visa, Mastercards, your PayPal payment process, all those things. So this blockchain, what it does, basically, it helps to how do you put, earlier the cross-border transaction between the banks were very difficult and cumbersome, more documentation were required. Now, the blockchain mechanism has really eased this cross-border transaction. At just, flip of a button, money goes out between the countries. There is a lot of exchange happening that is on the cross-border transactions. And secondly, smart contracts on the blockchain. So a lot of agreements has to be executed when it comes to banking payment system. Earlier it used to be people has to come figure out who is available, whatnot. Everybody will have to travel just for the sake of signing to one particular place. So these smart contracts has completely avoided the dependency of people to travel just for the sake of signing. So and it has really helped in saving the time where this kind of transaction has to take place. Thirdly, it also has a fraud detection mechanism in place. Any kind of unusual transactions are triggered. The way that we keep any kind of triggers in the system, it works. So these are the things that blockchain really helps in the banking sector mostly. So I am not able to really visualize how it's going to be impacting our corporate thing, but for any a sector where more and more robust financial transactions are happening, so there it's going to play a very pivotal role.
Okay, okay, done. So, are there any companies you look up to that are driving this innovation and this digital shift just for the finance sector?
I wouldn't look up to because Zoho is already there. But see, JPM is our primary banker. The JPM City and Stan Chartered are our primary bankers. But just to mention, JPM has already adopted a lot of AI technology when it comes to review of contracts, where it used to take hours, and they are just reviewing in seconds.
Oh,
And
okay.
similarly, City. City one interesting is the documents are completely encrypted. So it's end-to-end encryption. You receive a mail and you'll not be able to open the document unless you really validate yourself.
Got it.
So that's something interesting which I saw in City. So that is one thing. And I think most of the audit big fours, they are also into AI driven audit mechanisms, and also they want to make risk assessments through the AI tools. So they are already into, they had been doing with a lot of number crunching with Excel, and things are slowly shifting to AI now. So it's making easier. And interestingly, I also read somewhere that even Visa is really looking for blockchain to make their transactions bit faster and secure.
Okay, okay. So you mentioned Citi was using end-to-end encryption for documents, and you also mentioned that you need to validate yourself as the user mentioned. So how do you do that? Like,
It's kind of how do you have a multi-factor authentication, and as a whole we do have a registered user is given a particular password, and without which you should not, without identifying, you'll not be able to open the document that's attached in the mail itself.
got it, got it. That's interesting. And that's the only bank that does it, I mean, as far as you've seen?
I have seen, we bank with 3 to 4 multinational banks. I have seen in City.
Okay, that's a great step, I think, in the correct direction. Yeah, perfect. So a lot of organizations and finance teams are moving to the cloud. So what do you think are the benefits of this shift?
That's very exciting topic for me.
Okay, please go ahead.
So see, first thing is, you can access data anywhere.
Mhm.
That is one thing is, just you have a mobile, you have the app, you can very well look at the data, and you have internet, you have a laptop. So you need not be in office, or you need not be any place, you can just get these data very quickly. Second is on the flexibility that it offers, like, uh, for example, if you're a startup, so most of the this kind of cloud computing companies, they provide you until 5 years as it's free. So you're going to just use the services until you grow to a certain extent. It's, see, for us it may not be a big thing, but for a small entrepreneurs, it's going to really play a big role for them until they get matured. They need not buy any kind of on-premise servers to maintain all this applications. They need not even hire any kind of sysadmin person to take care of what their software does with the accounting records. So all this comes as a very major play when it comes to benefits of cloud computing. Thirdly, I would say, on the investment part, the companies need not invest on the heavy data center or the server, at least to begin with. And fourth is on uh, access it anywhere. So it was I would like to share a fact here. So although we were, Zoho books and whatnot, you had QuickBooks, all the cloud applications until 2020, nobody really believed the finance sector can work from home. I don't know. It was like we were very much tuned to the traditional thing, coming to office, looking at the watches, taking the printouts. All the everything was ready. There was we had a little. We need to have a little nudge, and unfortunately, COVID gave us. It's kind of blessing in disguise. We had a bitter experience there, but COVID really pushed hard. Even we were able to believe, this much can happen remotely in finance. Banking sector was running remotely. So that's kind of, very much, I would say, eye opener for us. And also, it's a great advantage when it comes to, adopting a cloud computing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think 2020 is when Sridhar told the
February,
company,
yeah.
yeah, the company that it's going to work from home
Correct.
completely.
And
And
we
I
were the
think
first team to go work from home.
yes, I remember that. And he just a few months before 2020 or something, he mentioned that we'll go completely paperless. And then COVID came, and then we were like
Yeah,
extremely ready
exactly.
for
See, in India, we are very much stuck with the paper documents. Okay, so it's like for anybody who, unless you see a voucher in place, a supporting bill in place, we wouldn't accept that. But this digital transformation and this remote working really pushed us hard, and now everybody is adopted. Even uh, the departments have accepted the soft copies of all the documents instead of
exactly. Yeah, because I
insisting on the
remember
originals.
before 2020 or probably before 2019 as well, anything that used to come online, the first thought everybody would have, okay, this is probably a scam. And then 2020 came, and then almost everything became online. And that's when, the whole mindset shifted for everybody throughout the country. And I think it was a really good thing because today almost everything is online. Now, if you get a paper, you'll probably think it's a scam.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's how,
No, if
like,
we get a paper, we will just call them, why are you sending paper
yeah,
copies? Very simple, don't
exactly.
send.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. So, with all of this data flying around and, companies being online so much. Do you think cybersecurity is taking a hit for all of this, especially
No,
in the
cyber.
finance?
So with going more digital, I think there is more exposure there and data getting exposed. But I think there are a lot of no counter mechanisms where we can really avoid any kind of threats from the cybersecurity part. So like you have the multi-factor authentication and biometric verifications, and also implementing a proper fraud detecting mechanism in these areas will really play a major role in curtailing any kind of risk that we are foreseeing. So although I would say there is no risk, there are still risk, but we can minimize the extent.
Okay. All right. So out of these, all of these new technologies, are they helping you sleep better at night? Or do you actually get nightmares about, okay, this is probably something which is going to harm the company, or let's say it could be a potential, you know, loophole for other people to get into?
No, I think the control system is tightly knit, and the way we receive and process information is completely tightly wrapped and monitored. So we just don't get information from a third party. So that is a very strict mechanism we have in the finance. We don't interact with the external people much, so that no data goes out or comes in. So I think. And we going digital has really made easy. I can look through anything anytime. So earlier I had to be in the office, I had to log into a system to see, but it's not the case. You can monitor things anywhere, and you can have set triggers popping up. This is something going beyond the threshold limit. So is this a right transaction, approved transaction? Even a lot of bankers, they call even in the midnight and they check, is it a valid transaction? They do a double and triple check. They because of the size of the transaction value. So across globe they do this. So I don't see we are we should adopt ourselves to the digital transformation, or rather than inclining towards the traditional one.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay, done. So, digital transformation sounds really good, but do you think there are any challenges or risks that probably can come about if it's a size of, let's say, Zoho or probably a bigger organizations? What should be something that they should look out for and be cautious or probably be doubly sure of, initiating that within their organization?
Yeah, see, investing in technology isn't cheap. So that is one thing. It's a very high costly affair. So and not everybody will be, even for Zoho size. We have to be very cautious. It's kind of AI is something. It's huge. So and that's one thing people have to bear in mind when they really want to proceed with that. And secondly, as we were discussing on the cyber threat, so we need to have a proper mechanism to keep that in check. Thirdly, there could be employee resistance. There is always a fear that AI will take over my job. So there has to be a proper mechanism. See, we need to frame or change their mind frame that you leave this regular task which AI can do and move to the next level. We have to go for the higher value task. Drive the strategy, decision makings, give a meaningful insights of what you are delivering to the next level. So interestingly, I as a person, I always want to whatever I deliver, I try to add value to that. I just don't give any kind of no numbers. We need to add a value to whatever we provide. So that is what makes the difference, right?
As you mentioned about AI taking over the jobs and how people, in the back of their mind, they're always a little scared about, okay, will my job go away or will I still have it? So, do you think people should probably change their resumes or probably, add something different to how they are going to apply for a job in the future?
See, the change is inevitable. AI is here. So we need to upskill with all analytical tools, data driven methodologies. How do we adopt is the key here now. So it's kind of, you need to embrace the change now. So that's what I would say when it comes to, but we have to come out of that fear. It's not going to completely take away. You need to upskill yourself so that all the mundane tasks you give it to AI, all the value added tasks you start doing. So that is one thing I would say.
Yeah, so as probably technology is evolving, as we saw in the last 2, 3 years. And so I think even your job roles would probably evolve simultaneously as well.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
So,
So, do you have any information or interesting tidbits about your time here at Zoho?
it's very long period just to recollect. So see, I came here before marriage, on personal life. I got engaged after coming to Zoho. I'm a mother of a daughter who's 12 years. So almost, oh yeah, interestingly, we can say this, on a personal note. Okay. So we were at DLF sometime in 2011. Yeah, 2011, 12, so yeah, there. That's when I gave birth to my daughter. And I had to carry her to the office from third month onwards. And we had a very small creche facility. And even Sridhar used to come visit kids, he had that kind of, good experience there, so that was one thing. So it's kind of, my life is completely twined with Zoho, like how I have grown from a 23-year-old to what I'm today. You can make up the number with 17. So it's kind of, it's you cannot really take Zoho from my life. It's kind of, very much.
All right, perfect. So, any new technologies that you're really excited about with finance? Something that can probably help you do your job better and faster?
Yeah, I see. As I was mentioning, we are not there much at this speed that we are required to be in AI. So when it comes to finance, we depend on more finance suite of applications. So more AI implementation in that tool will really go a long way to avoid any kind of manual task and mundane routine work list. So I think we need to get up there. So that'll really help not only us. So if it's going to help Zoho, it's going to help our customers.
Of course. Perfect. Done. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to know about finance and digital maturity in the finance sector. And if you have any other further, advice for people who want to come into finance today, like if let's say they're just coming out of college, what is something that they should really be curious about these days? So maybe you can mention that.
So one thing what I observe while interviewing the candidates kind of thing, once they pass out and get into any kind of corporate, so as you know, all the ERPs just show one face of it and doesn't show the back end what happens. Unlike Zoho Books, we know the complete thing. So it's not to market the Zoho Books product, but the fact is that, so what happens, these kids who pass out, they completely forget the basic backgrounds. So basic accounting rules and all those things, they need to be very very strong, come what may, come AI or even AI 1 2, or you have to be very strong in the basics. So you should not be leaving that, taking that as a very lighter note, because it could be always debit credits when it comes to finance, but that is something which will take till your financial health of the company. So the company's health is completely defined with its financial statements, and all this debit and credit makes the complete picture of the company. So you have to be very clear on the basics, and also be upskilled with the necessary technologies. So with more AI tools and application integration APIs coming in, so I think they need to upskill on that.
Okay. And just one last question, since this is a special Women's Month episode. I just wanted to know, how has your journey been in like the finance side, you being a woman, and then you also mentioned that you got married while you were working here, then you also became a mother. So how was it balancing all of those new roles that you actually came about, and then also continuing your professional role as well within the company?
It's the environment that really supported me. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a very pressurized environment. We were given the space we wanted whenever it's required, and uh, the commitment also was given. Like when we had to stretch out, we stretched out. It was very very flexible. That really helped us to grow and stay long with the concern. That's how we grew over this period of time. So I think it's more the company's culture, I would say, that really helped. So you will see, anybody you ask, there'll be 10 plus years of experience in finance. People, it's not that they don't want to move on, it's kind of, but it's kind of, The flexibility and the learning opportunity. As I was telling you, at 17 years, not even one day really felt it's a mundane job. I should be doing this. It's always a challenging thing coming up. So that's makes it very interesting.
Okay, okay. Perfect. That's great. It was lovely having you on the show, Anupama. It was uh, quite an interesting conversation because we've not had conversations with people from the finance team coming in. So I'm really glad we got the opportunity to do this with you and hoping to see you on another episode soon.
Thank you again for the opportunity. Glad I was able to
Of course, of course. Yeah.
able to do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. See you on another episode. Bye bye.